So much, and thank you for having us over. Very interesting topic, but at the stage we are in terms of the trajectory of where we are headed, especially post the pandemic, all of us really tend to wonder if this is a debate that needs more debating. The whole debate around whether cinema and OTT will coexist, whether they'll cannibalize each other, whether they can, whether one will bite into the other. I guess enough time has passed since the streaming platforms have made penetration into India, where we've seen both the mediums thrive. And to discuss this, we have a very eminent panel that actually covers the entire value chain, where we have Lada, who's on the content creation side of things, representing Sony Pictures, one of the most prominent studios globally with serious impact in India. So they're the ones who make the movies. You have Mr. Rockline Venkatesh, who's a producer and distributor and exhibitor, covering the entire value chain, where from content creation to taking it to cinemas all over and, running cinemas. We also have Mr. Kunal Sawhney, who is an exhibitor, runs one of the most fastest growing cinema chains, which is Moviez. And Mr. Pankaj Jaysinh, representing UFO Movies, which is the tech backbone that takes content that's produced by studios and producers to cinema halls all over the country. Let's really start this discussion from the origin of content, which is, Lada and Mr. Venkatesh, content creators. Lada, Sony Pictures is actually a very interesting conglomerate that is creating content for the theatrical avenue, releasing a lot of content that's made in Hollywood in theaters all over India. Also has an offshoot of its own, which is a streaming platform called Sony Live. Enough movies that have been produced by Sony Pictures, which go onto the OTT platforms and are theatrical successes. Let's really have you make the opening remarks about where do we stand since we've emerged from the pandemic in terms of the demarcation around the kind of content that is now being greenlit from the word go or developed from the word go for the respective mediums. Go for it.
Thanks, Akshay. I'm privileged to be on this panel with such eminent personalities. I think for us at Sony Pictures, during the height of pandemic, we came out with Shakuntala Devi. And that was, in fact, one of the first movies that went straight on a streaming platform on Amazon Prime. Given the fact that how the entire gamut of film exhibition, on what platform, what can actually work has changed, the jury is still out, Akshay. I would say that. We don't have a clear-cut, understanding of, which film will work where. But yes, there is a larger understanding given how films have performed, this year and how the coming, forecast looks like. That big theatrical cinematic experience, those films, the stakes are going to become higher. You're going to put more money, more might behind creating cinematic experience because it's going to become more and more difficult, and we've seen it, there's enough evidence of it, for people to actually make an appointment viewing. Going to theater is actually an appointment viewing, and it's going to become more and more difficult. So we do see that theatrical, superhero, tentpole, action films, these are going to be straight off theatrical films. And slice of life movies, films that actually, romantic comedies for that matter, I think they would horror to a large degree. A tightly made horror film works very well for OTT. But if it comes with a big star, it can still work on, a big, can become a theatrical experience as well. So I think the demarcations are going to come so on and so forth. And I personally feel that for me, going to theater is still an experience that we cannot really compensate for. Yesterday, my good friend Ranveer was here and he was talking about, how after pandemic he went to theaters and it was an experience that he had completely forgotten about, and he felt that this is something which cannot get out of our blood. Theater is in our blood. Cinema viewing is in our blood. So that's going to continue, but it's going to become more and more elusive, I feel.
Got it. Coming to you, Pankaj, UFO Movies traditionally, of course, has been the projector deployment company that's taken content from the studios and labs to cinemas. But the new play at UFO Movies, which has been a more recent venture, is distribution of content, which is a bit of a pandemic baby. Very interesting strides that were taken there with movies that became surprise, theatrical successes. there was rocketry, which possibly wouldn't have been perceived traditionally to be a theatrical, entertainer. More people would have probably given it a chance on streaming in terms of its draw, which of course did well, but became a huge success theatrically. There was Charlie 777, a Kannada movie, which again was, unlike what Lada said, in fact, a movie about the relationship between a man and his dog, made at a modest budget, but again a bit of a surprise. You also did Kartikeya 2, which is probably one of the most, one of the most exciting sleeper hits of our times. What do you have to say about this whole new wave of content that is more unexplored in the Hindi-speaking markets, and the other way around, where we've seen a Brahmastra do some very encouraging and exciting figures in the southern states, where Hindi movies have traditionally not done too well with their dubbed versions. So about this mix and this process of demolishing the linguistic barriers that seems to have started, and of course UFOs playing a key role there as distributors, what do you have to say about that, sir?
Thanks, Akshay. It's a new role for UFO, but if you know, UFO has always been in the center of change, right from the print to the digital viewing and taking the movies far in the interiors also. It was during the pandemic that we noticed the right content is being made, but it is not reaching the right audiences at times. So that is where I'll start with the most recent experience. We did Prem Geet. It's a Nepali movie. Now this Prem Geet, unbelievable what it is as it may sound, a Nepali movie screening in Tamil Nadu and having houseful shows. As of now, coming today, I get a message, oh sir, we are increasing one show in Cochin. Acha, a Nepali movie in Cochin? What are we talking about? I was just discussing with my friend Kunal as of now that Akshay, as we mentioned, we did your Tamil movie. The Dhanush is, excuse me for the pronunciation, Tiruchitrambalam. He's telling me, sir, that movie did houseful in Jalandhar. Okay, a Tamil movie doing houseful shows in Jalandhar and a Nepali movie doing houseful shows in Chennai. Boss, that is the paradigm shift which we are seeing as of now. And believe me, all this content, we also did, as you mentioned, the Kartikeya or Charlie. What is helping now is the social media. People probably have stopped doing the listing ads or the hoardings or anything. It is a social media which is taking the movies forward. Immediately one sees the content. Content, we always said, is the king. Now the awareness also is being spread because of the social media. Immediately, sir, this movie is good. This movie is, we need to take it. And that is where UFO has been. And it is definitely providing a lot for the change which is happening as of now. Over to you, Akshay.
That's interesting. Rockline, sir, coming to you. Of course, the phenomena of southern films, predominantly from the Telugu and Tamil fraternities, and of course Kannada, where you had KGF come and literally hammer its way into the Hindi-speaking belt. There, of course, are a lot of learnings for all of us in the value chain from the magnitude of the success of these kind of films. So what do you think is playing out right with these films that we are not being able to repeat with a significant degree of consistency with Hindi cinema? Because you've, of course, participated in Hindi films with as iconic a blockbuster as Bajrangi Bhaijaan in Hindi films. So you have that vantage point of a view to know how the things are functioning, how stories are developed and told in the respective fraternities. So what do you think are the best practices or learnings that both can have from each other?
After pandemic, a drastic change has been happened in cinema, where we are all experiencing. I mean to say, this 2 years, our audience, where they have been stuck in house, so they need entertainment where they depended on OTT. In this period, they were very keenly looking into the content. Content from south, north, from any part of the world, any part of the country. They were not into particular this thing. They were very choosy, or not choosy. They were into just watch the trailer and they want to see that movie if they like. Any movie. Without stardom, they are not into that. At that period, content was the star. So after pandemic, what we are experiencing is entirely different. I mean to say, for the theaters. Any movie, as Mr. Pankaj and Mr. Kunal told, in Jalandhar, unknown star, some other language movies will be screened in thousands of screens. So in this change is really, really good for our film industry. As you told, sir, everyone is fond of watching movies in cinemas. So everyone wants to come out from the house to have an entertainment in any part of the world, wherever. Any content which is good, they want to watch. So this change is really good. And what I want to tell you is, from the South movies now, before pandemic, this boom was not there, where maximum it was screened in, dubbed and screened in some channels. Now it has come to the cinemas where they are eating the screens now. So this change is really, really good for cinemas, and where entire industry, the makers are very much keen and very much selective for the content. That's what I mean to say.
Got it, sir. Coming to you, Kunal, another debate or another topic that has time and again been brought to the fore is about accessibility to cinema halls in the context of the financial bit, right? Where the high ticket prices have very frequently been spoken about. And the Indian market is actually unique compared to the rest of the world, where our strength essentially isn't our disposable income levels, but possibly the population, the 1.4 billion of us who exist. And even for a movie which is one of the most iconic blockbusters of cinema in the recent times, which is Bahubali 2, it's still a very small fraction of the Indian population that has been able to go to the theaters and watch it. About screen penetration as well as the financial accessibility or the affordability to go to the movies over and over again, what are the learnings that we have from the very recently concluded National Cinema Day? Where, of course, it was a bit of an eye-opener. Movie tickets were sold for 75 rupees all over the country. And you saw footfalls that were unprecedented. So the learnings from this and all the research and data that has been derived out of years of running cinemas, where does it take us going ahead?
Thanks, Akshay. I will answer you in a bit. I just wanted to add what Sir and Mr. Pankaj said. The language shift, as per me, it is also because of OTT. With OTT, we are open to watch multiple languages. We can watch international languages which we couldn't relate to. So, as per me, OTT is beneficial, which we see a jump in a Tamil movie in North or a Nepali movie in South, because we are exposed now to see multiple languages movie, or also for that matter a Japanese movie which is released across all. We are aware of that, what is that content, and it is all because of OTT, because we have exposed to not only watching a particular language movie, but different languages movie. Now coming back to you for the ticket pricing, see, it's debatable. I will not say, but the only learning which we have got is after 75 rupees is the ticket price needs to be dynamic. What is happening in multiplexes is we have fixed pricing. Pricing which differs from time slots and weekdays. But a bigger movie, I don't mean a bigger movie with a bigger star, but a movie with a bigger budget and a movie which is not that popular is sold at the same price. Where we go to a restaurant or probably a flight ticket or a hotel, everywhere the rate differs from product to product. But what was happening in cinema, if you go on a Saturday evening and you have A, B, C, D movie, all movies are screened at the same ticket price. So people are ready to pay if you pick up a content which is a big content. Take an example of KGF, Bahubali, RRR and all this movie, people pay this amount. Recent example, Brahmastra, it did, all shows were houseful. But what we saw on a national day is even a movie which is not so popular. In fact, we got 19% of audience which were repeat audience to watch Brahmastra the second time. With 75 rupees, it was not only the price, but also the marketing which paid a lot of importance. So all cinemas came together, started promoting, Multiplex Association promoted 75 rupees, all news channel, everybody was talking about 75 rupees. The person who don't even want to watch a movie on that day, he was urged to watch a movie. So, and also we have to consider the inflation. Last 4 years, where is the ticket price gone? What is the percentage shift? It is not that much. The pricing of everywhere, starting from the gas to petrol to clothes, everything has gone up. Ticket, the percentage is not that high, but the right product has to be served at the right price.
Sure, Kunal. So, Lada, this was conversation about financial accessibility. There's also a very important conversation to be had about intellectual accessibility. For, the tier 1, 2, 3 towns, for the SEC, A, B, C, D of the sociographics and, demographics of India. As they say, a sizable chunk of the population lives in India, but a much bigger chunk of our population lives in, as they call, Bharat. And it's very interesting to see a Hollywood studio like Sony come and back an IP like Shaktiman, which probably is in a big way focused on Bharat, because that's where it became the phenomena that it became in its days on TV. What are your thoughts on, trying to cast a wider net in terms of the way you tell your tales, besides how you price them in cinemas?
Akshay, yes, we are a Hollywood studio, but we are all Indians working there who feel passionate about the stories of, the countryside, as it were, or Bharat, as you'd want to call it. I personally very strongly feel that it's imperative for studios like us, to back stories which do not just cater to Bandra Juhu crowd. It's important for us to provide platform to stories that resonate from Gandhinagar to Guntur to Gorakhpur to Gangtok. That's the philosophy with which, for example, if we, when we backed a movie like Major, which is our first foray in Telugu, and it was a bilingual Telugu-Hindi, we looked at a story of 26/11 attacks of one of the biggest heroes, Sandeep Unikrishnan. And it starred a Telugu hero, it had a Telugu director, but we shot it in Hindi, we released it pan-India, and we took that story to national because it resonated with all of us across the board. Similarly, if we talk of, a film like Shaktiman, an IP like Shaktiman, the idea behind backing that IP was that all of us at some point have actually grown up with that superhero. Our first identification, at least mine, and I'm sure, most of the people in the, over here in the ballroom would agree that our first identification, during growing up years was with Shaktiman, also because it catered to something which is very Indian. It catered to yoga, it catered to, our ancient texts. That's how Shaktiman actually originated. So, if not for us, then who, to back these stories? Because eventually, the moment you actually bring a big studio, into the scheme of things where it is backing, it enables, 100 more people to start thinking on those lines, because they feel that there is a platform and an opportunity. And if you have a big studio backing, naturally you have exhibitors, you have, the food chain accordingly, starts functioning. So it's important for the studios to understand that the real India is also where the real growth also lies. It's not just a decision that is made purely on emotions. It's also a decision that is made on economics of it. And I think it's very, very important for all of us to come together and to celebrate really Bharat,
Got it. Pankaj, coming back to you, regional films, of course, you look at the KGFs and Bahubalis and Triple Rs and Pushpas of the world that have been able to demolish those linguistic barriers and go to markets that were not traditionally belonging to those languages. But besides that, the other, fraction of content that has done exceedingly well is smaller regional films in their own states. So we've literally seen Punjabi movies emerge as a serious force in Punjab. We've seen Gujarati movies in Gujarat which are doing exceedingly well. And these are not necessarily movies that are made at huge budgets. In fact, more often than not, they're made at very modest budgets but they really managed to appeal to the local sensibilities in a big way. Do you think this is one fraction that will actually complement the big theatrical run for content?
It will not only be the theatrical run, which I will address to that. It has also helped the ancillary industries. Today you spoke about Punjabi movies. I visited Chandigarh recently, and a whole studio is coming up over there, Punjab Film Studio. That is providing you sets, that is providing you equipments, that is providing you everything, and now they are even talking about providing subsidies for the movies which are going to be shot over there. So it is the theaters which are benefiting, the producers which are benefiting, the distributors, and the audiences are getting the content. We spoke about the ticket pricing, and which is important for the regional movies. I wouldn't, excuse me for calling regional movies, but it's a Tamil movie or Hindi movie or a Malayalam movie. It's not a regional or a Hindi movie, but anyway, for sake of clarification. It is making the same product available at variable prices. It is not saying that this product is available at a low price or this product is available at a high price. It is the same product, the same good story, which is being made available at variable prices. What I mean by this is a movie which is good can be shown at a discounted price in the morning 10 o'clock show, 11 o'clock show, because the senior citizens who are willing to come at 10 o'clock in the morning or at 11 o'clock in the morning will fill up your auditorium. They will be your mouthpiece to tell their children and their family, hey, bete, I went and watched this movie. It is a good movie. You should be seeing this thing. And that is how it is moving. I'll take the example of Karthikeya now, coming back to this Karthikeya 2, what we are talking about. We gave it a platform. The producer totally said, do what you want to do with this movie. It's your movie. Do what you want to do with this movie. On a Friday, sorry, this movie was released, on a Saturday. We have 50 cinemas, and by Monday, it has gone to 1,200 cinemas. Boss, this is the kind of growth that you are seeing. From 50 cinemas to 1,200 cinemas. I mean, I've spent my life over here, 25 years, and my family was here since the dinosaurs were walking on this planet. But we've never seen something go from 50 screens to 1,200 screens. And that is the power of pricing and providing a platform. It becomes a truly one India now.
Got it. Rockline, sir, coming back to you. One very interesting trend that's actually emerged post the pandemic, and we were actually discussing this back there, and I'd like you to really pronounce this more comprehensively. The movies that have done well, whether it's Suryavanshi, whether it's Pushpa, whether it's KGF, Triple R, the Kashmir Files, Bhool Bhulaiya, back in the day, there used to be a massive opening weekend, a good first week. The second week used to be a bit of a residue, and after that, there was virtually nothing coming in. Now, these movies that we just spoke about have surprisingly done very well in the first week, equally well in the second. Some of them have grown, like the Kashmir Files and Karthikeya. The runs of the movies that are doing well in theatricals have actually augmented. And the ones that are not doing well on Friday morning. What do you think is the reason behind? Has the audience become a lot more choosy? Is the medium, is the word of mouth a bigger play now? What do you think is the reason behind these kind of interesting new trends emerging?
In Karnataka, I would like to tell you one thing. Ticket pricing is not an issue in Karnataka. In other states, there is a restriction of admission rates. Ticketing, the prices are restricted. So in Karnataka, in weekdays, they have a slab, of course, and there is no restriction for that slab also. So in this situation, what I want to tell you is, as you rightly told, if the content is good, and if there is a star cast, the opening will be there for the cinemas, and no one will check for the ticketing price in Karnataka. What my experience as an exhibitor. The audience, where they question the pricing is, once they get into the theater, they will just check for the popcorn price. So that should not be priced where they should be comfortable. They should feel comfortable in that snack bar, where whatever it may be. Ticketing, pricing for your kind information, in Karnataka, we have no issues at all. As you rightly told, if the movie is good, after 3-4 weeks also, audience are prepared to pay 1,000 rupees, 800 rupees, 1,500 rupees also after 3 weeks for any gold class, something like that. So this is the thing which we are experiencing in Karnataka.
Kunal, after that point, I guess as both of us being exhibitors, we should spend the next 5 minutes debating and appreciating that chandelier. But on a serious note, Kunal, so that pricing discussion is something that you spoke about. The other thing in terms of growth, to really, to support the flow of content that's coming in, one discussion about is, one of course very obvious play, is about the need for theatrical infrastructure to be built into markets where it doesn't exist or it doesn't exist with a good quality. And MovieMax is one chain that's actually, fueling the growth of screens in tier 2 towns in a big way. What do you think about the opportunity that lies in those markets in terms of the growth of not just the exhibition sector, but obviously with the exhibition sector penetrating deeper, it aids films, it enables better, a higher amount of content to be produced because it can be monetized as deeply. So your thoughts on the need for the focus on the tier 2, tier 3 markets?
Definitely, yes. We all know the importance of tier 2 and tier 3 and how it is emerging not only for cinemas but entire retail chain for that matter. And just to add on the ticket price, Andhra and Telangana also had a fixed pricing of 150 rupees. Recently, they have, around 6 months back, the government allowed the ticket price from 150 to jump up to 200 rupees. But we have not seen any shift in the occupancy. The occupancy are still the same. So ticket price, yes, it plays an important, but at a lot of cinemas, we have right pricing at different days, morning shows, evening shows, weekdays and weekends. Now coming to tier 2 and tier 3, all thanks to the technology and social media, people also in tier 2 and tier 3 are aware of what content is, what is movie coming in, and etc. etc. They also want to see a particular movie which they can relate to. Now they know the brands, all thanks to online shopping. They call for particular brands, so they have a lot of time. Here in metros, we take at least 2 hours to commute from one place to another, which is not the case in tier 2 and tier 3. They have high disposable income and the time, which is very, very important. Irrespective of whatever the ticket price is, a person needs to invest, correctly said, needs to invest 4 hours for watching a movie, which is available in a tier 2, tier 3. So there are a lot of places where I can take an example. Even if it's a movie which is not so popular, if it's projected and presented to them in the right way, with the right service and the right ambience, they will come to a movie because they don't have any other medium of entertainment. But the only medium of entertainment for them, the experience so-called, is if they want to come with their friends or family any day, is a cinema. Irrespective of whatever movie it is, critically acclaimed or bad review, there are a lot of crowd in this particular region which they come for a Friday, Monday, Tuesday evening shows with their family because this 4 hours is fixed for movie watching experience. So rightly said, there are cinemas, but taking a good theater there where they can come in with their families is required, and we have seen this, the importance of number of viewers. Rightly said, Bahubali is the biggest movie in India, and not even 3% of Indian population has watched this movie because we don't have cinemas where a person wants to go.
Got it. Those have been interesting insights. Before we come to a close, let's take some questions from the audience for all of us. Can we do this with raise of hands? Anybody who has questions? And if somebody from the team can pass the mics along. We have somebody right here. Or, ma'am, if you may just shoot.
Sure. So basically, if you understand, one major thing is that in tier 2 and tier 3 cities, the kind of spending power is far higher than you see in the metropolitans. Though we miss that point, it's like one may assume big city, big money, but if you will really go down and see, the tier 2, tier 3 have more spending power than we have in the metropolitan cities. So that's an area where I have a point for all the exhibitors on the dais, that the pricing is a very, very important factor, like Pankaj mentioned, okay, in terms of the timelines, even in terms of the cap on the pricing in some states. I feel that is an area which really needs to be considered, I mean, maybe at the government level, maybe at the exhibitor levels, or maybe at the distributor levels, whatever level that it comes to. Because ideally, if it's a film which is made with a very high budget, they need to recover that money. So you can have that many screenings, you can have that many number of theaters, you can have that many number of shows, rather than, you know, just bombing it with a certain inflated price. I think which is, because getting more infrastructure, we are a very long way from that. So till we have more theaters, till we have more screenings, ideally it will work for everybody if the pricing is controlled to a certain extent, because you'll have so many more people visiting. Like you rightly said, cinema going is not about a movie being good or bad, it's more the experience of going out with family and friends and going and eating the popcorn and all the junk that you get there. That's the fun of going to a theater, you know, more than anything else. So yeah, it's a very deep thought that one needs to look at controlling the pricing in all states for that matter. So yeah, that's that. And I'm Varsha Jain, I'm from NFDC.
Thank you, ma'am. Anybody else? Anybody who has a question for any of the panelists out there?
Can I just revert a little to Ms. Jain?
Sure.
You seem to be really glued to the movie industry and you've got the pulse of it. We are, as an UFO, we are coming up with smaller screen cinemas, 50-seaters and 100-seater cinemas for the interiors with limited pricing, backed on solar power, as well as the generator, as well as the electricity, making it much lower and affordable. When we were doing the initial surveys in a couple of towns, we said, "Aap aayenge yahan pe picture dekhne ke liye?" "Haan sir, aayenge." "Kitna paise denge?" "Sir, paise ka taklif nahi hai. AC rahega." You see the spending power. They are not looking at the old cinemas wherein that experience is not enjoyable. If they are spending that 3 hours or 4 hours, they want to be comfortable. So the first obvious question was price chodo, AC rahega? And this is how we have done the survey, pin code wise. And pin code wise is one of the verticals that the UFO is looking at to come in the interiors. A, B, C, tier 1, tier 2, even tier 3 centers have enough cinemas. It is the tier 3 and the tier 4 where the next growth will be coming from.
Thank you. We have someone there.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Hi, this is Mariam from Money Control. So my question was about footfalls. I've been hearing from analysts saying that footfalls versus pre-pandemic levels in theaters are not back to the pre-COVID levels. So I just wanted to understand, is that a concern, and what could cinemas do to, you know, bring, because if footfalls are not back to pre-pandemic levels, then that will affect the box office numbers. So I just wanted to understand what could cinemas do to resolve this?
I'll answer that. It's not that the footfalls are not back. We have seen good contents, you know, all the names which we have taken, RRR, Bhool Bhulaiya, KGF. There are people coming in. But what is happening, there's a shift in people's taste. Now content has become, because there's so much of content available, they are very particular about which movie to see. If the movie is good, we will see footfalls. And we have seen this for all these months, even for different language movies which is streamed in different states, people are coming back. It's not that pre-pandemic or tech. There's a taste change which has happened, and we take time. By the time the content is made and delivered to the cinema, that shift is happening. That's the reason we see there are a lot of movies which does really high footfall, and there are some movies which don't do footfalls.
Thank you. Yep.
I just have a small observation. You said only 3% of Indian population have watched Bahubali, right? So to ensure Bahubali juice has been canned, okay. So to ensure more population watches Bahubali, how about invigorating traveling cinema or drive-in, which used to be earlier, to make sure better percentage has it?
Pankaj will just address that.
A couple of things. We have this caravan vans also. You want me to address that? The caravan vans is something which take the movies to totally media dark cinemas, where probably there are no televisions also. It has its own server, it has a screen which travels from one city to the other, from one town to the other town, showing the movies at free of cost. The entire model is based on the publicity that we would get from there, and like Hindustan Lever. It sells small products also, but it is unable to reach over there. So these are the vents which go from one town to the other town promoting a movie, and that is where we can get more juice out of it. Secondly, again, as I was coming today, we would have said, as you mentioned, Bahubali, all juice is kind and done with. Probably it's a myth. It is not yet done. I'll talk about a practical experience of a movie, Rocketry. We did Rocketry. It's released about 10, 15 weeks back. Come on the satellite, come on the OTT, it's done with. I just get a call, sir, 500 school children want to watch this movie. 500 school children, they want to watch this movie at Cinepolis at a discounted rate. But this is what is getting the footfalls back also. Immediately you'll say, please go ahead and do this thing. Two is because it is also an inspiring movie for the children. Imagine how much they will get out of this movie. It's a good deed that you are doing. The cinema is getting the footfalls, the distributor is getting the money. The students are getting value out of seeing this movie. So it's just depending upon how well and how differently you can monetize your product. And we need to continuously keep thinking on that.
Thank you. We have somebody here.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Rachna. I'm from Bombay Times. I have a two-part question, and I'd like all of you all to sort of contribute to this. The first part, of course, is about Cinema Day that we just recently had, and it kind of was an eye-opener with the kind of footfalls we actually saw on that day and subsequently since that day, since the ticket prices have been low. I want to know if there are learnings from that entire experience that the cinema exhibition industry plans to take forward. And part two of the question is about, in these current times, minus the Cinema Day learnings, how do we intend to sort of decide on the ticket prices as to kis film ka ticket price kitna hona chahiye? Not basis of which day it has released and which window it has released, but kis film ka ticket price kitna hona chahiye? What decides that?
I think I'll answer first on that Cinema Day thing. So yes, 75 rupees Cinema Day ticket price drove a lot of footfall, but with that I strongly say it was the marketing, where it was marketing all across the channel, from the news media to cinemas. Everybody was aware that on Friday there is a 75 rupees ticket, which pushed a lot of people to come and watch the movie. So it was a mix of ticket pricing as well as the right marketing, which is rightly said, if everybody come together and push the right medium, people will come and whatever they want to do, like a marketing is very, very important. So that was it. And when it comes to ticket pricing is normally decided between the exhibitor and the distributor, which movies are releasing, depending on their past experience, which is the platform of movie. Also, it differs from cinema to cinema. So in a same area, if there is a multiplex which is well made, and if it's a normal screen which is not so well made, what seat are you sitting in? Are you sitting in on a normal seat, a sofa, a recliner? In which mall the multiplex is constructed? All these are a lot of factors which determine the ticket pricing. That's the reason ticket price differs from cinema to cinema, day to day. Also in auditorium, the front rows, the middle rows and the back rows.
Hello. I am from Divine Land Productions. I want to know when will be a time when international films other than English can be shown in theaters. Like for example, I produced a Filipino movie. It's in Filipino language, but it has got so many awards. But my only option is to look for OTT over here, because no theater will take that movie, because it's an international language film. Secondly, I also have filmmaker friends in Goa. When they make a film, they have to themselves release the movie in the theaters, because there's no distributors willing to buy that films, So can you talk on both these topics? Thank you.
So you have a distributor on the panel. You have an exhibitor who's played Japanese movies to houseful shows on day one. I'll let both of them answer this. Pankaj, you want to go first?
What we can do is just create the awareness of the movie in the first place. All are having a fixed cost, no doubt about it. A cinema also says, boss, I have to pay salary. Chote bache hai, paise nikalne bhaiya, pagar chahiye mere ko. So what we can do is, the cinemas where we control or where we have the advertisement time, we do it the promo by the trailers. At least create that awareness. At least the people around should be knowing that a movie is coming on an XYZ date. Moment they see this awareness and they see a liking towards the movie, they immediately approach the cinemas. Sir, ये picture आप दिखाने वाले हो? Is this movie going to be screened around over here? They get the pulse of it. And immediately they say, connect with the distributor. Sir, we are getting good feedback for this thing. And then they start with maybe a show or two. So it is going to be a joint effort. It is not that, okay, chal, the distributor, you buy my movie. He is not going to buy your movie. Or cinema, just screen my movie. He is not going to screen your movie. I mean, awareness has to be there, the footfalls has to be there, and that is where we come in, and by showing the promos and the trailers, we create that awareness at the minimum of the cost. And then your social media, we have a Hema over here who's a PR agent. She creates through social media. Earlier used to be the listings and the hoardings, as we mentioned. Now it is done in a different way, but this is how one takes a movie forward. Kunal, over to you.
So it's all about, rightly said Babanga, demand and supply. If there is a demand, the content will be there. Again, on a longer run, what we all are doing is, what we have been spoken is the number of screens. Now also, there are multiple languages which releases all the contents, not that a cinema is only releasing a bigger movie or a particular language movie. Nepali movie, Korean movie, Japanese movie. In fact, we have shows in Delhi, which is dedicated every Friday evening, where we have a Korean movie to be screened. But it is all about the demand.
Got it. Have time for the last two questions, I guess. Yes, sir.
How do we increase the screen to population ratio?
It's all about, we all are trying that, but the retail comes at a very, very high cost. Also, the constructing a screen cost has also gone up quite a lot. There has been inflation which is hit, but we are trying. We are new in this industry. We are the fastest growing cinema chain, and it will be all complemented where everybody come together. Now the game of the change with the developer has changed. Before that it was rental. Now it is more of, if I earn, he earns, vice versa. So that is the revenue share which will also helping us to go and open more screens and going into tier 2, tier 3, which we have already discussed.
Yeah, just to build on this, Pankaj, there's another model that UFO Movies in fact offers, where the existence of a developer doesn't really come into play, which is a greenfield play that you're doing. Maybe you want to address the question with that.
I would like to get Mr. Rockline Venkatesh in this. He is closest to the government, and the policies will have to be there to give whatever he was discussing right now. Mr. Rockline Venkatesh, I'll let you answer what government can do to increase the number of cinemas.
We are, means to say, Karnataka, means Kannada film industry is very lucky to have a very good backing from our state government. Not from now, from decades. We are very lucky in this regard. Any party, any CM that is different, they have a soft corner on entertainment industry. They will be backing us, they will be supporting us. This Mr. Pankaj ji, as rightly told, and where we were discussing about the cinemas, screens to be increased in numbers. We were working, I think, 3 to 4 years before and after pandemic also. But luckily, the industry, from film Chamber of Commerce, we approached the government saying that tier 1, tier 2, wherever, make a survey of the place wherever cinema is very badly needed. So after the survey, entire state, we had a data on that, and then we presented to the government saying this is the thing, this is the thing. So if we have a screen somewhere 1,000 capacity, 1,200, 1,500, there was an offer from the government, from the industry saying that you can make 2 screens or 3 screens or 4 screens. If you want to have a number of screens like this, for a screen, subsidy of 50 lakhs should be given from the government. So this was being given from our Karnataka government to the exhibitors. So we had number of screens after this benefit what we have got from the state government. When we were into this, there was a problem in Tier 2, 3 and all. Already there is a theatre which is existing, who and all from decades they are running. So I will be a competitor to that theatre. So that place, whatever, if the demand is there also, the exhibitor is a little bit worried, oh, the other theatre is coming, other screens is coming, so I will be affected. So there was a problem in this issue. So again, we spoke to the government and we asked them, first give the preference to the local exhibitor. If they want to come with some other screens as the potentiality and the demand is there, so please give the preference to them, giving and allotting a site to them. Allot a site to them for lease. So in this situation, we were very much successful and we are working on that and we are getting the subsidy from government also. And this is the major success of multiple of screens in various means to say district, taluk levels also. So one more very, very important thing what I want to tell you is, entire film industry, whatever, entertainment industry in the globe is different. Karnataka is entirely different. Because any regional language, Telugu, 90% of the movies will be screened in this local language or whatever in that state. In 10% of other movies will be screened. Same in Tamil, same in Malayalam, in Kerala, wherever. But in Karnataka, 6 to 7 languages, any movie, name any language movie, successfully that movie will be collected as the local regional language movies. So this is a very, very special kind of thing. What I want to tell you is there will be a queue for every screen. I think number of movies will be in queue to exhibit the movies in Karnataka, any part of Karnataka, that too in Tier 1 cities, and then Tier 2, like Tier 3 like this. So this is the thing what I want to tell you, what's happening in Karnataka. So this support should be given by other governments for the entertainment industry in other states also.
Thank you, sir. We have one last question here. Let's go with that.
Hello. Hi, sir. This is not question. Just I want to ask you a plan or what is a plan to get maximum show for a low budget regional movies which release along with high budget Bollywood or any big budget movie? Because not every big budget movie made for a hit, or it's directly or indirectly affect to the low budget regional movie. So what we should do?
Lada, can we have this from you? Because Sony Pictures again has so many movies that are made at different price ranges, different budgets and different scales. How do you go about getting shows from Kunal, Sawhney?
I think I'll remit my answer to the fact that, in terms of when we are picking up content, we are absolutely making no discrimination between, backing a Hindi film or backing a Telugu film or a Tamil film. If the content is appealing to us, we are going full hog in backing that, script or that film. When it comes to showcasing, of course, if, a big studio is behind, a film, then they ensure that the programming actually is taken care of and everything is kind of, on the line. But Kunal can actually get into the specifics of it when it comes to a choice between a big budget film and a small, good regional film.
I'm pretty sure he's wondering why is he signed up to do this session by now. But let's have one last answer from Kunal.
Now it's not about big or small movie, it's all about content. There were numerous names which were taken. Charlie 777, a Japanese movie, Karthike 2 recently released. If the content is there, and I'll come back, if the demand is there, I don't want to name big Bollywood movies which were replaced by these movies, and these movies had houseful shows. So it's end of the day, it is all about demand and supply. If the demand is there, the movie will get that platform to get number of screens also. It's not marketing now, it's all on social media. How many, what marketing of all these movies, name which we have taken, starting from Pushpa to Kartike 2 or Charlie 777 has done. It is only the word of mouth. If I saw the movie, I have told it to my multiple friends and family members. It's all very, very strong. We have seen the bigger budget movie where the content is not very strong and accepted by people has not done really well. So it's the content which nowadays speak.
So the Nepali film, just to, the Nepali film that's come out, it had a marketing budget of less than 1 crore, pan-India. I think, sir can probably throw a light.
See, basically I would say, yes, there is a small budget or a big budget, depending upon, traditionally we always said, Shah Rukh Khan means big, Salman Khan means big. Mine is a small movie, people do not know them. One thing is, please do not commit harakiri of coming across a Salman Khan or a Shah Rukh Khan, definitely. I mean, then you really have to rely a lot on your luck that my movie will be noticed by people. Traditionally, we always used to have a pre-Diwali or a Ramzan period when the big budget movies traditionally did not release, and it gave a chance for a less known movie. I'm not insulting a movie, but this is how people view it. So traditionally, they always betted on that. Now, with the technology, as we mentioned, yes, one choose a period when you do not have this kind of movies coming in, and there are always periods in between that there are gap periods, as we traditionally call it again in the film industry. The gap periods are there. You could be discussing with a professional distributor and the professional consultants at what is the right period to come in. And the most important is your PR and the social media and the trailers which we take to the cinemas, which is at the lowest of the lowest cost. But that certain amount of awareness has to be created by selecting the target audience.
That's interesting. Those have been wonderful insights. I'm sorry, I think we're already running out of time and there are more sessions that are lined up ahead. Thank you, gentlemen, for being, so forthright with all of these insights. I'm sure they would really help all the aspiring young filmmakers, executives out here. Thank you guys for being a wonderful audience, and thank you, FICCI, for having us over.
Thank you, gentlemen. Can you just step ahead and come